Welcome to the Best Things Podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on all the socials at Best Things Pod as well. Now, here are your hosts, Craig and Aaron.
Hello, Internet. Welcome into the Best Things Podcast. My name is Craig. Sitting next to me, none other than the Cali Kid himself, Aaron Brooks.
Thank you. And hello.
Thank you and hello. Welcome to the show, everybody. Glad that you are here. Thanks for listening on your favorite podcast app or watching us over on the YouTubes or the TikToks, because that was short-lived little break from TikTok.
I didn't know if we were going to make that 12 hours or not.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
It was tough.
We were going to not survive. That was such a wild... The week leading up to the TikTok ban, it was so funny because so many creators were sitting there almost giving like eulogies. Just, if this is my last video, thank you guys so much. And we never did that. I think partly because, number one, we don't dedicate that much time. Number two, though, I don't... Did you realistically think it was ever going to go away?
I did not.
I didn't either.
What happened is exactly what I thought would happen.
Just a brief little blip.
Yeah.
Well,
and it may have been to really help push further engagement for them.
Honestly.
Yeah.
We're going to remember this like the Thanos blip. Like, it's just going to be like, honestly, I expected to see a lot more of that reference during the whole ordeal than I did. But anyway, welcome into the show. We're glad you guys are here. A lot has happened. It feels like already in the beginning of 2025. Last Monday alone, we talked about this because we were together. Like you had MLK Day, an inauguration. What else? There was something else.
The national championship.
That's right. The national championship game was that night.
Three major things taking place
just
on
huge.
the 20th.
And on top of all of that, we obviously, our hearts go out to all the people, the Angelinos, people living in LA, Palisades, the whole nine, who are dealing with all the fires. So shout out to them. Thinking about you guys, praying for you. Hope that you're able to build back better. That was a thing. Who did that?
Joe Biden.
Okay.
Wrong administration. That was the other old guy.
Well, I hope LA can build back better. But yeah, we're thinking about you guys. If you can and want to donate, there's all the different ways that you can do that. But it did get us thinking a little bit about movies that were set in LA. And that's where movies are made, but plenty of movies have been set in the City of Angels as well. And so that led us down to this path, and we're going to talk on those things today.
There are many rabbit holes.
Indeed.
To go down.
Yes. And in nearly every category, even in animated, which I was surprised to find out.
Yeah.
There's some animated ones based in LA too.
Yes, there are.
All right. Any further banter?
Well.
Uh-oh.
No.
I thought he was going in. I thought that was the opportunity for one of your classic, I hate to drop this bombshell, but here we go. We're going to get into it. Pineapple does belong on pizza, that kind of thing. So,
I mean, there is a subject that maybe we can broach once we get into things.
Okay.
I don't know where it fits in, so I'll just find some random place where it really doesn't work, and that's where I'll bring it up.
Sounds good to me.
Before we can figure out the best thing, we have to talk about all the things. It's time for The Thing About the Things.
We are talking movies that have their home in Los Angeles. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. Have you been to LA?
I have not.
You've not been to LA?
I have never been to LA. I've never been to California.
Okay.
I've sniffed around it, Albuquerque, Seattle, but I've never
Cross the border.
Never been there, no.
Okay.
You?
I have been to LA a couple of times. Haven't got to spend much time there, but I have been a couple of times.
Is now when you're going to admit you were an extra on Gilmore Girls? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Hollywood didn't want me for long. They said thanks, but no thanks.
Really?
You're better made for podcasts.
Yeah. Why, Aaron? Why is that?
I don't know. As everybody should have a shot at it now.
But here's the question.
Ugly people are made for Hollywood now.
That's true. I guess we could have mentioned this before we transitioned, but there are LA in the movie making industry is not really the powerhouse it once was. That's still, where people want to go and where everything is glamored to be. But you've got Atlanta, Austin, Vancouver, all these other areas that are popping up as these pretty significant, like all of Marvel stuff is done in Atlanta now,
Yeah. And I think about all of the Hallmark stuff that's done in Canada.
Yeah, that's true.
Like maybe that's where I need to go. Maybe I need to go to Canada for a shot at Hallmark movies.
You'd be a great Canadian actor. That's where it's at. But LA or New York gets a lot of movies made too. London. LA is just not where. At one point, like if you wanted to make a movie, you just went to LA. It was default, but now you've got options, I guess. So
it's good to know that I've got options.
You do have options. So we are talking movies based in LA. So these are not movies that were created and birthed out of LA, but rather movies that, for the most part,
LA has a significant role.
Exactly. There are some we may even reference. I don't know if they'll make our bracket, but we're
not limiting it to the entire movie must take
yeah.
place in LA.
It needs to have a significant amount of the movie or significant importance to it.
Okay.
Which may, it broadens our horizons a little bit. And maybe, I don't know, maybe some of them are just on the fringes of LA or just in Southern California in general. We'll see where we go with this. Do you want to kick us off in some way or fashion?
It's the first place I had In-N-Out Burger, by the way. First place I had Del Taco. Those were memorable experiences. Might have been the first place I remember seeing a palm tree. I think I went to LA before I ever went to Florida. So it's a very significant city. I've been to LA and New York both.
Okay. Which one do you prefer? I've been to neither.
I think
I have been to Hong Kong before I've been to either one of those.
That is wild. That is wild. I prefer the landscape and everything of Los Angeles to New York.
Okay.
The traffic is terrible in both, probably worse in LA.
Yeah. Mainly because there's not the public transportation I've heard is not nearly as there's no subway system right in LA.
I don't think so.
And so LA's not known for taxis and all that kind of stuff. So
everybody drives. Everybody's driving, and some of you people don't need to be driving that are there that I have seen, and lots of stories that I've heard about.
Yeah.
Personally, I can't picture myself living in either of those two metropolises.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd want to either. I mean, I like big cities a lot. I really do enjoy the big city feel because everything, for as big as it is, because it's so big, a lot of stuff has to have in little neighborhoods. So you have to have a little bit of everything in a close proximity. So I've always appreciated that about big cities. You can just walk to places pretty easily. Whereas in Cersei, excuse me, our Walmart or something's not that far, but I'm going to have to drive to get there. Whereas in a big city, it could be the same distance, but you feel like you can just walk over. It's just the structure is a little bit different.
Okay. I see that.
I'm about to cough again, so go ahead and keep talking.
All right. Well, I will then lead us into the first of our films today. And I'm really tempted to take this and put it on the board. That's how much I really like this movie.
Okay.
I think I will.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and take one, and I'm going to slide it into the number 4 spot.
Just getting it in there, right?
Yeah, it's just on the bubble.
Okay.
As they say in bracketology. It's a movie called Carry On. This is a brand new film, Netflix original. You got pencil problems again?
I'm having all kinds of problems today, apparently.
I don't know how many of you saw this. This came out this past holiday season. So it could be recency bias, but I don't think it is. I think this was a really good, solid movie.
Should I go ahead and take a number 1 and just have these two go head to head?
Why not?
I mean, I don't know that I want to take him on number 1, but I'm very tempted to.
Okay.
I'm very, very tempted to put it number 1.
And of course, he's referencing Die Hard.
Die Hard, okay, which is also an LA-based movie.
It's an LA-based movie.
I'm going to add it to the bracket, but I don't know where yet.
And it is deservedly so.
We'll go ahead and talk about them next to each other, though.
They are very similar in nature.
They are.
Carry On. I just went blank on the guy's name. Man, Joseph. Help me out.
I'm about to.
Internet.
As soon as I get there.
It's not Joseph.
It's Taron Egerton.
Okay, yep. No clue who he is.
Jason Bateman also in this movie.
Yes, that was the other name I was getting to. These are your two main characters. You don't see Jason until, I don't know, halfway through the movie. But he's a carry-on specialist.
Well, you don't see his face till halfway. He's the very first character you interact with.
Yes, you hear him.
Yeah.
But you don't actually meet him face-to-face until halfway through the movie. Dude is a TSA agent, LAX.
And kind of, I was expecting before watching the movie, I was expecting him to be a higher ranking official in TSA. But
this is a very lowly guy. He's about to get fired, potentially. Right. He's, just trying to save his job.
Spoiler alerts. Should we give some spoiler alerts or?
Sure.
Just in case you don't want to be, in case something slips, we're just going to go ahead and say spoiler alert. Cover our bases.
This is Christmas Day.
Right.
He ends up running the X-ray machine, whatever you call that deal, where they're scanning everybody's bags. And he gets an earpiece, he puts it in, and Jason Bateman's character is on the other end of that. And he begins telling him, you've got to do this and this and this, and there's a package coming through. You need to scan it and let it go through.
Again, we'll just spoil stuff. It's a nerve agent of some kind.
Yeah, they want to smuggle it onto a plane.
Right.
They're going to kill a bunch of people.
And Bateman's character is he's not a terrorist. He's more like a mercenary, kind of just out there for hire. You know. But he's incredibly ruthless. Like the dude just doesn't give a heck.
Yeah, he doesn't. And so it is this guy trying to save his fiance,
right, and unborn child throughout the movie, and also save all of these other people that are going to die on the plane. And so it's basically a Die Hard scenario that you get played out through an airport. Is this a Christmas movie?
I mean, what they did. I don't feel like Christmas is a central theme in the movie, so no.
If Christmas didn't exist in the movie,
the movie
still is a good movie.
Yes.
And the same is with Die Hard.
Yes.
The only difference...
It's not integral to the story.
Right. The only difference with both of them is that it is set at that time.
It is set at that time.
It is a plot point. For this movie, it's one of the busiest travel days. It's a busy travel day for them. For Die Hard, it's a Christmas party. So they're both plot points, but they're not.
You could also make it August 27th.
Exactly. They're not a requirement for the movie to move forward. You do have Christmas songs in it. You do have Christmas Santas and trees and other things like that.
It's all background stuff.
Exactly.
That you really never see it focused on.
It's a setting.
Yes. But I think they were smart to do it the way that they did it.
I agree. Yeah. And they're probably their goal is probably to capitalize on the same thing Die Hard has because of the argument and the debate. They're hoping in 10 years people are watching this every year for Christmas.
Is it a Christmas movie?
And they say that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will, because I don't know that that's just, I don't know if movies coming out in this era have that kind of lasting power because the blockbuster's almost dead right now.
Yep.
You know, and I think that's a travesty, but I think it's true.
I told you that I like this movie better than Die Hard.
Right.
I need to go back and watch Die Hard again. I've seen it several times, but it's been a while.
I need to go back and see exactly what I told you. I'm going to see if I can. Keep talking.
I feel like you told me that you thought you might like it better than Die Hard as well, just in the action of it all. What I would say,
I gave it an 8 out of 10. I don't know what you gave it.
I gave it an 8 out of 10 as well. I would say I'm hoping that it's not recency bias for me on Carry On, but then that it's also not just nostalgia of Die Hard.
And that's what I said. So
And there's
verbatim,
okay.
you asked me, is it equal to Die Hard? And I said, it could be better if I don't let nostalgia get in the way.
There we go.
And I said, very similar, though. We need more of these in the world. And what I meant by that, because as soon as I watch the movie, I go into the reviews and I start seeing. I never like to look at a lot of reviews until after I've watched the movie, because I don't want to be swayed. I mean, unless I'm just really on the fence about whether or not I want to see it. But you had said good things. I'd seen other people say good things, and a lot of the comments in the reviews were, this is a weak plot. This is just a popcorn movie. This doesn't have a lot of depth to it. Who cares? Why have we have completely watered down the purpose of what a movie is supposed to be. We have missed the plot point on what movies are supposed to be.
I agree.
People are trying to take every single movie thinking it needs to have this deep, super cultural, impactful meaning. It needs to have depth of every character. You need to never be able to pick this movie apart. No, movies are to escape from reality and just enjoy yourself for 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's the point of a movie. If we try to keep nitpick, we're going to see the entire movie industry collapse because of us, in the general audience, because we're never satisfied with popcorn, just fun movies anymore.
Right. And I think that's perfectly said. I enjoy a movie that you can just sit down and watch, eat your popcorn, have fun. It doesn't have to be the greatest of all time movie, but just a solid 2 hours of just enjoyment.
Right. And we don't see many of those anymore, especially in theaters, because the movie execs are terrified to take the risk on just making a good movie, and a fun movie, I should say, because they know critics it's going to get critic bombed, or it's going to get IMDb downvoted, or just all these different things are going to happen, and they're not going to make any money. What happened to making movies just for the fun of making movies?
And see, what surprised me is with Carry On, the critics loved it, and the audience at Rotten Tomatoes didn't like this one. And I was really kind of baffled by that, because it was just an enjoyable movie to watch.
You want to know my opinion on that? I think the world is now full of self-proclaimed critics.
Okay.
You've got these people trying to be something that they're not, and just trying to say, well, I don't think it spoke to me in this. Who cares? Just enjoy the movie. Shut up and enjoy the movie. That's what I've got to say. Just shut up and enjoy a movie.
Yeah. I agree. So, again, maybe it's recency bias. I'm sliding it into number 4 just because I enjoyed it. LAX is the central theme. And this is where we could nitpick the movie for this episode. Is LAX enough of a setting to be one of the 8 best movies set in Los Angeles of all time?
Right, yeah.
Maybe it's not.
That's a good point.
And it may get bumped out because of that.
Yeah.
But I want to go ahead and put it right there on the edge to begin with, and then see where this goes.
I think that's a valid point as far as this episode goes. I can see that. It's countered, though, being Die Hard. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Because when's the last time you've seen Die Hard? Because you don't watch it every year like I do.
No, I don't. It's probably been 5-6 years.
I have a tickle in my throat. So I watched Die Hard a mere week before watching Carry On.
Okay.
So
They're both recent.
Yeah,
in your
they're
mind.
very
They're
recent
fresh.
in my mind. I think they are very close as in terms of the enjoyability of a movie. Like I liked the Carry On had more suspense for me.
Okay.
So it had a little bit more mystery to it. Now again, that was because I knew what to expect with Die Hard, but it does have a little bit more intrigue in putting the pieces together. Die Hard's pretty straight up and down. There's not a lot of mystery there.
No.
You know who the bad guys are. You know what's happening. It's just an action movie. So this one did have a little bit more depth. What's in the box? What's the package? Who's this guy? There's a lot of questions.
Okay, that seems familiar to me.
So in terms of a whodunit, tick toward Carry On. I do feel Die Hard has the quotes. Like you cannot beat it.
Yeah.
Quotability.
It is a
I
quotable
can't
movie.
tell you a single quote from Carry On right now.
No, probably not.
So when it comes to quotability and probably even iconic characters, you got to go Die Hard, because you could say Jason Bateman's character, but
See,
he's
I
so
like-
mysterious enough that it's hard to identify him as this a big bad.
I feel like I liked him as the villain better than I liked. Who was it? Hans
Gruber, played by
Yeah, can't think of it. That's what I was trying to think of. But to me, I just thought he was and maybe
Alan Rickman.
Yes. I just thought he was a more interesting villain.
The intrigue makes him more interesting, probably. But Alan Rickman's character Hans Gruber, why was he doing what he wanted to do? I guess that's the only mystery part, is why did he choose to do that? You kind of find out at the end it really is just about money and whatever. But so I mean, I still think there's more identifiable characters. You've got John McClane, you've got Holly Gennaro, you've got of course Reginald Vell Johnson.
Oh, that's right.
Carl from Family Matters, is in there. You've got what's his name? Hold on. Argyle. That's what I was trying to think of. Argyle has always been one of my favorite characters just because he's kind of goofy. I always try to think, okay, if it was getting recast today, and Kevin Hart would play Argyle, easy.
Oh.
Like that's just
That's a good
one for
that's
one.
a good pick.
But so I mean, quotability, iconic characters, I think you got to go. So I mean, it's very close. Plot point's pretty much the same. I give it a tie there. So you're talking nostalgia and recency bias, kind of take it either direction. So I mean, they're very, very close for me.
Let me ask you the same question that I posed about Carry On, though. Does it feature Los Angeles enough in this episode to check off that best of Los Angeles movies?
I think it does.
It's
more than Carry On.
I mean,
Is
you're
it
not
enough?
just
I
at
don't
an
know.
airport.
Right.
You're getting a little bit more of that.
The Nakatomi Plaza, that is an iconic space. It was called Nakatomi, but like that building is a landmark. So I mean, I don't know. I think it could go either way. I'm not going to put it at number one for that
Okay,
reason.
that's what
I just
was gonna say.
I wanted
Is
to
it
put them
the-
next to each other for conversation purposes
Right.
only.
But you are taking it.
I am going to put it. Yeah, I'm going to just slot it in at. I think I'm going to put it at 3 right now. I feel good about 3. All right. What else you got?
Well, let's talk this. I like Nick Cage.
Of course.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Was that L.A.?
That was Los Angeles.
Oh,
I believe.
that
Hang on.
never came up on my list.
Let me make sure.
That's a great movie. That is one of my. We should do a whole Nick Cage episode at some point.
He does deserve his own episode.
He deserves his own episode.
Yeah.
Why is that not on the board?
I don't know. Put it on the wall.
I'm doing it right now. Keep talking.
Okay. Yes, Gone in 60 Seconds is set in Los Angeles. And I mean, this one I think ticks off the box of you see the city, lots of iconic locations. This one is, I mean, can you believe at this point that was 25 years ago?
What?
It was done in 2000.
Gone in 60 Seconds was?
Yeah.
Why did we not include that for our millennial baiting? That's what I want to know. That is.
You get.
Did you say it was based in LA?
Yes.
Okay. Gosh.
You get downtown LA and some of the chase scenes. It's a really quality movie.
I know you said it, but you didn't hit the button.
I didn't hit the button. Did I?
You didn't hit the button, so I'm going to steal it.
Heard.
Oh, that's a great pick.
Well, I know where I was going to put it.
Where were you going to put it?
I was going to put it number 1 on my list.
Oh, wow.
That's and again, it's been a long time since I've seen this, but I used to watch it fairly often. I mean, I saw it several times.
Yeah.
And I really like that movies, cars, chases, and you get the city. I mean, he's stealing 50 cars in 72 hours to save his brother.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't going to put it that high, so I'm going to give it to you number 1, okay?
I can't, off the top of my head, out of everything I've looked at, nothing that I've seen makes me think, man, that you see so much of the city.
It's true, you do. That's such a good movie.
So
it's such a good
to
movie.
me, as far as Los Angeles goes, the city's on display.
I gotta look. I gotta look up. What's
Which one of the things that this movie kind of brings up is another sort of topic, and that is, I feel like Los Angeles gets pictured in a couple of different ways. Either one, you get glamour Los Angeles,
right,
or you get very gritty Los Angeles,
right, and I think of it as more gritty because the chunk of the movie with the most happens at night.
Yes,
because it all has to happen that night.
Yes. So this movie, I feel like, features gritty I'm just talking about movies in general. Los Angeles movies are either it's glamour LA or it's just gritty LA, and there's no real in between.
Right. Yeah.
The movies there are kind of in one of those two boxes.
A lot of Long Beach is in there as well.
Yes.
They mentioned that on here. It gets a 6.5 on IMDb. I think that's a travesty. If this is not at least an 8.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I gave it. I gotta imagine I gave it an 8 or a 9. Of course, you have Nick Cage. You have Angelina Jolie. This is one of, if not, maybe Mr. and Mrs. Smith is my. It might. This is the only other. That's the only other one I can think that would edge it out over this one for her roles.
Yeah. By the way, Rotten Tomatoes audience says this is a 77%, so that would be
Better.
7.7. That's bumping that 8 spot.
That's better.
That feels right. Not 6.5.
No, not
people.
6.5. You also have Robert Duvall in here as Otto. He is great in that movie. Who is the guy who plays his brother? Who is not Memphis? That's Nick Cage's. I can't remember what his character's name was. It was another city, right?
Kip Raines. He's played by a guy by the name of Giovanni Ribisi.
Oh yeah, I'd see that here.
I
recognize it. He was on Friends. He's been on a bunch of other stuff, but it is such a good movie.
So again,
who else is in that movie? There's somebody else I'm thinking of.
And again, I like action movies. We both like action movies. You get cars, you get chase scenes. You've got the pretty girl in it. I just think this really.
Scott Conn. You've got Will Patton also in it. Timothy Olyphant is in it. You have don't you have an Affleck? I thought we have an Affleck in that movie. Maybe not. It's fantastic. I 100% agree with you. I think it's definitely worthy of being on here. I cannot believe I didn't see it on any list.
Yeah, I didn't see it on any lists either, and I thought that was a major oversight by the web people.
Absolutely.
Not to put Gone in 60 Seconds on there. So again, for all of the stuff that it features,
gosh, I need to watch that movie again.
That's just what I was saying. Like, I've got to go back.
I haven't seen this in a minute.
I mean, this was a quarter century ago.
Gosh. It was so good. It would come on TNT a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Mid 2000s. Gosh, it's so good.
So you get beach, you get the coastal highways, you get downtown LA, you get the chases.
Cars. I mean, LA is known for cars.
You get to see the city on display in the movie.
Right.
This movie screams Los Angeles to me.
Man, that's a good
For
pick.
that reason, it's my number one.
That's a good pick. Okay. Do we want to do some that aren't going to make our pick or our bracket?
Why not?
How about Paul Blart Mall Cop? That takes place in L.A.
See, I totally forgot that. And we watched Paul Blart not that long ago.
Yeah, he's in an L.A. area mall. That gets a 5.2.
And I feel like that's kind of hard on it.
He gets a 34% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, see, that does not surprise me. I bet the audience liked it better than that.
Yeah, I don't know what the audience gave it.
No, we watched it again recently. It's just to me, that's a 6. It's an enjoyable movie.
That's like a 90s, comedy.
It's a family movie to sit down and enjoy together. No, it's not on any greatest of all time list, but it was fun.
Yeah. Which I like Kevin James a lot.
Me too.
I think he is, of course he runs in the Adam Sandler, that kind of circle anyway, but he doesn't take himself too seriously. And I always appreciated that. But Paul Blart on there. Let's see what else.
Well, here's one I know that's not making the list, and that's Transformers.
Yeah. Okay. That was the next one I was going to mention.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah. 2007. I don't think either one of us are like Transformers are the greatest movies ever. I think when the movie came out, I was like, this is a cool adaptation of a toy.
The rest of the franchise gave it a black eye.
Really did.
If they had just stopped after the first or even the second one, I didn't mind the second one either. If you just stopped there, but I mean, they really Michael Bay'd this thing up. Okay, like they just couldn't stop with it, it just.
Sorry. Speaking of Michael Bay, there have been, of course. Sorry, that was a whole lot of nonsense there. The famous TikTok video meme that has gone around for a while now has been at the end of Transformers when Optimus gives his speech and looks off, and then it cuts to the Linkin Park song.
Yes.
Of course, that's been memed 100 times, but it's come around a lot last week because number one, leading up to the inauguration, you would have it would said what this is how our government is right now, and it's that random video of Biden where he turns around and smiles, and then it cuts to Linkin Park. What I've done, and then there was also the George W. Bush smirk from the inauguration, where he gives the smirk, and then it cuts to Linkin Park again. Sorry, when you said Michael Bay, that's the first thing that popped in my mind was last week's memes. Just going everywhere on the internet.
I am still seeing, as long as we're on this rabbit trail, I am still seeing so many TikTok videos of George Bush just random. Like I saw somebody sent one today, like when you ask your waitress or when your waitress at Texas Roadhouse asks if you want a fourth basket of rolls, and it's just him, doing.
I've seen that with when I see my wife get out of the shower for the 4,000th time, just that face.
I think we talked about this last Monday. He's just one of the most human presidents that there was,
especially in our lifetimes.
Yeah. He's at all the state events now. He's sort of the guy that just Even at Jimmy Carter's funeral, I don't think he meant to be funny, but like when he walks in, he just like whacks Obama in the stomach. He's just a normal guy.
He's just a normal dude, and I appreciate that so much. And he got a lot of slack when he was in office for being a little bit, the best way to put airheaded almost, kind of just
like a dumb redneck.
But I know you've seen stuff and read stuff too. Like he's a brilliant guy. He is so smart, and some of the stuff was on purpose.
Yeah.
And so just to know that he keeps that in mind, and he just likes to have fun. He's just a good dude, I appreciate it.
Sometimes the videos pop up from back when he was in office. You remember when he got the shoes thrown at him?
Yes.
I see those, and it just cracks me up.
Miss me. He just says, miss me.
Dodging those shoes. He's just a funny guy.
Yeah, this is just a George W. Bush appreciation post. That's all this is, okay?
What were we talking about?
Transformers.
Oh, yeah, Transformers.
Michael Bay.
Not making our list, obviously.
Yeah, no.
But
I mean, you had Shia LaBeouf, you had Megan Fox. You know, that was obviously teenage bait. You know,
Absolutely,
that's all it was.
And then who else ended up in the franchise?
I don't even remember.
Josh.
Well, Mark Wahlberg at some point comes into play.
Yes. Josh Duhamel is in it.
Right. It became like the next movie I'll mention, but it just goes off the rail. It just jumps the shark a little bit. It just becomes.
Right.
Let's be clear here. Jumping the shark about a toy where aliens have come down in inhabited vehicles. To jump the shark on that premise, you have to go hard. You have to really take some liberties to go off the deep end with that. But it just became watered down. It just was not. The first one was pretty good, but.
And it was in L.A., right? This is L.A. that's taking place in the first and second one, I think.
It says significant action sequences in L.A. So I think they do veer out, but most of the time it's in L.A. Speaking of the same as the kids say, the same energy as Transformers, Fast and Furious.
Oh,
also set in L.A.
Man.
LA is the focal point, and it goes down other Southern California areas, but LA is big focal point there.
So you're not going to take that one.
I'm not taking Fast and Furious.
I figure there would be a lot of people that are upset that we would put Gone in 60 Seconds in ahead of Fast and Furious.
You obviously come from a different generation. Let's just put it that way.
I am. Let's see. I don't know. They're on like Fast number 10 now, maybe.
I think they're on 10. But again, they've jumped the shark. They've gone too much.
Right.
You know, to me, I remember watching the first one and falling asleep. I remember watching the second one and falling asleep. I made it through all of Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
And I have not seen one since.
Those are probably the only 3 that I have watched. And I would have to go. I mean, I just don't remember enough about them.
I just don't.
I don't know why they were. I don't know, as popular as they were.
Yeah.
But people are going to be like,
some people just love them, man. They go bananas for them. And I've heard some people say it's a guilty pleasure thing at this point. Like
sure.
They know it doesn't. But you're going to get me ranting again. Why can that be a guilty pleasure movie that you just enjoy, but you're going to crap all over other movies that are trying to be the same thing?
Right.
That's where I get just really angry at people.
Like this last one they brought out. Again, I didn't watch it, so I don't know, but I just remember the trailers and clips that I saw where the car, they're like jumping it into a helicopter.
Oh, yeah. They've been to space, man. Fast and the Furious has been to space. This makes no sense.
So okay, and that's the point. And I think it's very well taken that if these are popular, why have we got to nitpick something that is seems more realistic, like in Carry On, than Fast and the Furious?
Oh, man. There are some good ones on here that I don't know if I'm going to have room for all 4, and I don't know who I'm leaving out. But while we're on the topic of cars, we got to talk about speed.
I had that one on my list. I've bounced back and forth about whether or not I want to take that one.
I'm going to do it.
Okay. I feel like it deserves to be on there.
I'm going to put it at 4, which puts it... Wow, okay. Keanu Reeves...
This is the bus one, right?
This is the bus. There is a bomb that's been put on the bus, and if they go under 50 miles an hour, then the bus blows up with passengers on it in the streets of LA. Gets a 7.3 on IMDb. Audience scores is 76%. I think that's pretty accurate. A pretty accurate representation. This came out in 1994. This movie is over 30 years old now.
Wow.
But this is a great movie. It keeps you on your toes the whole time. It's got a lot of action to it. Is Sandra Bullock in this one, if I remember right?
Yeah, she's the
female interest.
Yes.
I like Speed a lot. Keanu Reeves is great. This was right in Keanu's wheelhouse during his. I don't know. He's having a pretty good peak time right now. But I would say the '90s was definitely his sweet spot. You had this. You had Matrix. You had. A whole bunch of others. Point Break. Point Break also L.A., right? This is on the SoCal coast.
I didn't hear a thing that you said. I was trying to remember. Is there a remake of Speed in the last few years?
Well, you know they made Speed 2.
Maybe that was it.
Speed 2 is on a boat. Same premise, just a boat. I can't remember if they've remade it, though. Yeah, Point Break was 91. It was Southern California. I don't know if we're going to consider that L.A., but Speed was fantastic, though. I'm going to put Speed at 4 right now. Yeah, Keanu, Sandra Bullock. I don't know why I said her name that way. Jeff Daniels, Alan Ruck. So it's got a good cast as well. Dennis Hopper.
Well, as long as you did take it number 4.
I did take it. I want to put it number 4.
I think it's in there.
I did too.
Another car movie for me was Ford v Ferrari.
Oh, was that L.A.?
Again, not the whole movie,
Okay.
but it begins there. That's where Ford is based.
Right.
Shelby's doing all of his stuff there. So it all begins in Los Angeles. And I just really liked the Ford v Ferrari movie.
That was the Chris Hemsworth one? No. This is which one am I thinking of that Chris Hemsworth is in?
Man, I'm struggling with my names today.
You keep talking about Ford v Ferrari. Who was in that one?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to.
Matt Damon, Christian Bale.
Yes.
That's the one. Yeah.
Big. This was this COVID? Was it 2020 when this came out?
That sounds about right.
I remember watching it during COVID, and it felt like a fun movie in kind of a time. If it hadn't come out then, it must have been fairly recent before then. But I just remember it being a movie that I watched during the pandemic, and it was just fun. And it kind of starts in L.A. I don't think it's the best of L.A.
Rush. That's the one I'm thinking of with Chris Hemsworth.
What is it?
Rush.
Does it have Jason Statham in it?
It's a Ron Howard film. It's got Chris, Olivia Wilde. I don't know about the guy you talked about.
Okay.
Continue.
I didn't have anything really else to say other than I liked Ford v Ferrari.
I did
we were
like
talking
that
about
one,
cars, and it, has an LA connection to it.
You gonna take it?
No.
Okay. Well, let's see if is there anything else Cars related that one of the lists I saw said Cars, the Disney
Like
movie, like Radiator Springs.
No.
Has ties to LA. No. There was lots of those on Chat GPT, and I was like, it's like Shark Tale. It says Shark Tale has imagery of LA, like loose connections, loosely inspired on LA. As well.
I don't. Yeah. Is that like saying like Gotham is loosely based on New York City?
Right. Exactly.
No, I can't do that.
What else you got?
Okay. I'm going to throw one out here. I sort of kind of want to do this one, but I'm not sure. The Aviator.
Man, you were thinking of some I didn't think of or didn't see on any lists.
This is, and again, I'm struggling with names today.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes, thank you.
That's it's a long movie. It's really long.
This is a long one.
But it's a great movie.
And it is Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And you kind of get the glitz and glamour of Los Angeles in this one.
This is Howard Hughes, right?
Yes.
And so, you've got all I don't think of it when I think of L.A., but as far as a movie goes, it's a great movie.
I'm going to put this at 3 right now.
Okay.
And I think that has this, you work your way through time in this movie. So you see LA through some different decades.
Yes, that's a good point.
This was early 2000s, if I remember right. I'm trying to find it. I don't know.
This is 2004.
Okay. So over 25 years ago.
Much of the film is set in Hollywood. Of course, it does showcase other parts of his career, Howard Hughes' career.
Yes.
So everything he was involved in outside of LA too. But most, a good chunk of it is set in Hollywood.
You get a lot of the iconic golden age of Hollywood, seeing, some of the movie premieres.
And what a cast.
And
Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Blanchett, Kate Beckinsale, John C. Reilly, Alec Baldwin. It's just a bang, bang, bang. Just a great cast. We mentioned this movie when we were talking about in our director's episode as I think maybe Martin Scorsese's best film for I want to say this was my favorite film of his. It gets a 7.5 on IMDb and an 85% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
That's high on
That's
Rotten
high.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's up there. So this one to me, because so far, Gone in 60 Seconds, Speed, Die Hard, Carry On, this is all gritty.
It is. Yeah.
Aviator, I think, hits the glamour side
You're right. You're absolutely right.
of LA.
Yeah.
So put it on the board.
That's a really good one. Man, there's a lot of good movies. We're going to leave some out. Just know that. So if you're watching this right now, you guys, we're going to miss some of your favorites that and maybe even just some iconic ones. Like I'm going to list some iconic ones that I don't think I'm going to put on this is our list. Now you may disagree and want to take it, but I know Big Lebowski.
See, and I'm just going to throw in here, I looked at some articles that were written about movies that perfectly capture Los Angeles, and Big Lebowski's way at the top of those.
Right.
Here's what I have to say about that. I've never seen the movie.
Oh, wow, really?
So I don't know anything about it. I know it's like a classic, iconic movie. I don't know anything about it. It's bowling, right?
Yeah. Well, he's a boy. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a very, very long time. I think it's probably, I was maybe 19 years old when I saw it. So it's hard for me. Pulp Fiction is another one that's high up on everybody's list.
Yes, it is. And admission time again. I've seen half of it and just didn't like the movie.
It's a different vibe movie.
Yeah.
So if you're not into that kind of stuff, then and these are probably the people. If these are your favorite movies, y'all are probably the ones that are hating on Carry On,
Probably so.
and hating on some of these blockbusters.
I am not. I guess I am too shallow when it comes to this. Okay.
I mean, we're
I'm
just
not
average dudes, and I hopefully the listeners who like our show appreciate that about us. I'm gonna list through some other ones that I don't think either one of us are gonna pick. L.A. Confidential.
Never seen it.
Chinatown.
Haven't seen it.
I thought you might have seen Chinatown. That's in the
No,
70s.
this one was from timeout.com. Chinatown is considered the #1 movie that most perfectly represents Los Angeles. And I don't know anything about it. Never heard of it before.
You know what the last word of Chinatown is, I believe. Chinatown. Rotten Tomato critic score is at 99%.
A critic score?
Critic score.
Well, I don't trust that.
IMDb rating is 8.2.
That's better.
Let's see. Other things I don't know that we are going to put on our list at least. Crash. Have you seen this one? 2004.
Crash.
I think that was a Gyllenhaal or a Gosling. But I don't
that
know
one
for
sounds
sure.
so familiar without being able to see it, though. I can't remember.
Boogie Nights, 1997. Okay, Swingers. I just want to reference Swingers real quick. This is Jon Favreau. This is like his first big thing that he did. Swingers in 1996. Group of actors trying to navigate dating in LA in the 90s. The Nice Guys. This is one that got high critic acclaim, not a lot of audience recognition. It was 2016. This was Gosling and he did Gladiator. Russell Crowe. That's the one where Russell Crowe kind of let himself go a little bit. He kind of has he looks like a.
It looks like Fat Thor.
Yeah, exactly. La La Land. Neither one of us have seen that.
No, again, on
it's
several
just not our
lists
vibe.
about Los Angeles.
And I think that would be the glitzy, glamorous side
Yes,
of
it is.
LA. You know,
It is.
100%.
yeah, it's a musical, I believe, as
It's
well.
a musical, yeah.
There was just nothing about it that checked off any boxes.
Yeah.
Another one that I saw listed a lot was Pretty Woman.
Okay, I'm not taking it. I'm tempted to though.
It has been so long since I've seen it.
We watched it a mere few months ago.
I can't remember the plot.
So Julia Roberts is an escort.
Yes.
And so she is just trying to make ends meet and do yada, yada, yada. Richard Gere is a very wealthy man, very, very wealthy man. And he is, I think if I remember right, he's going through a divorce of some kind, but he picks her up as one does. I'm trying to be as PG as I can about this. He picks her up as one does, takes her to a hotel room, but they don't really do anything, if I remember right away. he basically sees, hey, you're struggling. I've got a lot of money. Let me treat you nicely. He takes her somewhere.
Right.
His colleagues like her, so he's trying to pass her off as something more than she is. And
is this the one where she goes to the store and they won't?
They won't
sell to her or something like that?
They think she's stolen his credit card.
Yes.
And he's trying to,
Okay.
And so he has to come back with her, and there's the whole this was what was it? What year was it?
This would have been in the 90s, right? Or late 80s.
I had it on here. Hold on, where is it? Because I have the year next to it. It is going to be 1990, straight up 1990. This was smack dab in the era of the clothing change montage,
Right.
So you're seeing her try on all the different stuff, and this is, she's being cutesy and fun, and she was a little cutie patootie in this movie. I'm not gonna lie. So it was well done. Lauren,
is this a rom-com?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Lauren was watching it. She had it on, and I just got sucked in. Like, I was just like, I forgot how good it is. A really well done movie. I'm not going to add it to my list.
It's not it wouldn't be like a dude movie.
No.
That you and I are not going to sit down and watch Pretty Woman together, right?
No, Aaron, you and I are not going to sit down on a Friday night and watch a Pretty Woman together.
I didn't think so.
Although that would be hilarious. Our wives come in from shopping. What are y'all doing? Oh, we're just watching Pretty Woman.
Walking down the street.
And the song, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't deny the song as well.
So I feel like we might get some criticism, though, for not taking a movie like that
going
on
to get
this
some
list.
Criticism. Absolutely.
I just don't know it well enough. It's just not my genre, so I have trouble putting that on the board. But very high honorable mention.
How about this one? I'm not going to take it. I'm going to be surprised if you don't. Well, I'm not surprised, but I'm going to be... this is one I could see you taking. Singing in the Rain, 1952.
Singing in the Rain. I love that movie. Have you watched it?
I don't know that I've seen it. I've seen the clips, obviously, but I don't know that I've watched the whole movie through. It gets an IMDb of 8.3.
Yeah, it does. It's up there.
It gets a Rotten Tomatoes rating. You want to guess, or did you already see it?
I didn't see it.
You want to guess?
Is this audience or critic?
This is critics.
Critics. I think, what year was this? 52. 52. Critics are going to love this. It's going to be a 85.
100%.
Yeah. Singing in the Rain. Does it have a little description?
The description it gives me is a classic musical comedy about the challenges of transitioning to sound in 1920s Hollywood.
I'm sorry, Carry On, but I've got to slide you down one, and I think this does need to be on the list. This is a classic film. If I'm not going to take Pretty Woman, okay, I am as
we got to appease the critics somehow.
As you get. This is the most in touch with my feminine side as it really gets. Okay, so yeah, Singing in the Rain.
Here's the more detailed description. Singing in the Rain is a beloved American musical that blends romance comedy and the dramatic transition from silent films to talkies in Hollywood. The story revolves around Don Lockwood, a silent film star, and his efforts to navigate the challenges of emerging sound film era. As the studio oh man, I almost nailed that voiceover. As the studio prepares to convert from silent films to talkies, Don and his co-stars, whose voice are ill-suited for sound films, must find a solution. Don's love interest is brought in as a voice double for Lena, leading to a series of musical numbers, love triangles, and comedic mishaps.
Okay, I remember Gene Kelly is the lead in this.
Gene Kelly is the lead. He plays Don.
The actress
Debbie
is
Reynolds.
Debbie Reynolds, okay.
And Donald O'Connor and Gene Hagen.
Okay.
All star in this film.
Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds.
Gene Kelly and Stanley Donen also directed.
Oh.
The audience score is 95%.
Yeah, this is classic. Man, it's got to be a 4. I know it's never getting voted through.
Right.
And now I want to go watch Singing in the Rain again.
I'm not a musical guy.
I know.
And that's probably why I've just never. I know it's a
I know.
classic, but that's probably why I've never wanted
Yeah.
to watch it.
But I have to play the game here, and it does belong as a.
I agree. This is a top.
Hollywood,
This is even
Angeles
somebody
movie.
who's never seen it.
Sure.
The scores like that.
Yeah.
When every one of them has it that high, you kind of have to put it on there by law. You're required. We can go through some others that are probably not going to make our list. They might. Maybe you hit a button that I'm unaware of. Constantine, another Keanu Reeves vehicle, 2005. He is an exorcist who's battling demons, and this is a wild movie. It is just a trip. Let's see what else here. Battle LA. This is we just watched the trailer for it. He played Two-Face on The Dark Knight.
Aaron Eckhart. He's in Battle LA. This was one, and I was telling you before we hit record, this is one of the first things I think of when I think of an LA movie, just because it has the word Los Angeles in the title. This movie sucked me in with the trailer. I remember seeing it on TV. It had a great soundtrack to it, and then I went and watched the movie, and I was like, it's fine. It's okay. I went and watched this for my bachelor party, I think. This was part of my bachelor weekend. E.T., the Extraterrestrial. Oh, that's right.
Is based in Southern California. I don't know if it's LA specifically, though. I'll have to ask ChatGPT here.
Please hold while AI loads. Which movie is this? Battle
E.T.
E.T. Phone home. This is where Reese's Pieces debuted.
Pasadena. So it's a suburb just outside the LA metro.
I will allow it.
You
It
will
is
allow
the
it?
greater LA area.
Okay.
So I would allow it if you wanted it. Confession. I've never seen it.
What? Are you serious?
Never seen it.
You've never seen E.T.? I can give some of these a pass.
To the best of my
But you have never
recollection,
seen
I have
E.T.?
never seen E.T.
Holy
I'm sorry.
cow.
I'm sorry.
Wow. You need to repent. Like, how have you never seen E.T.?
It looks like it gets a good score.
Yes, it gets a pretty good. Rumors are E.T. is a pretty good movie. I don't know if you know that, but the secret's out.
I have seen little clips of it.
E.T. is a good movie.
But
How have you gone your whole 35 plus years on this planet without ever seeing E.T.?
I don't think that I've seen it. Maybe if I hit play on it, it'll come back to me and remember it. But
Well, no. That's E.T.'s pretty rememberable. If you don't recognize E.T., then you probably haven't seen it. Drew Barrymore?
See, it's just not ringing a bell.
Oh my goodness.
It's not ringing a bell. Sorry. I'm no help.
I need a minute. I need to talk about I need a minute.
Well, I'll tell you one that I was thinking about.
Really? You've never seen
I don't think so. What about, is it the same as the boy who, not the boy who
There
could
is a
talk
boy
to
in it.
fish.
No.
Was this a Disney movie?
I don't know if this was a straight up Disney or not, actually.
I feel like I may be getting it confused with another movie. As part of it, I feel like, man, I've seen it, and part of me is like, I'm not sure if I've seen it or not. And just thinking of the clips that I've seen. I'm sorry.
I mean, hey, okay.
Well, are you taking it?
I think I'm going to swap out Die Hard for E.T.
Okay. As your number one?
No, number 3.
Oh,
I don't have a number one
You
yet.
moved to number 3. What are you saving for number 1? What am I forgetting that is worthy of a number 1?
I don't know.
Here's a couple that I was going to throw in there and see if you snagged one or convinced me to snag one. Sort of like Battle LA. I spent forever trying to figure out what this movie was earlier and finally found it. It was San Andreas.
Oh, yeah.
With Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
Major earthquake catastrophe hits Los Angeles. He's trying to rescue his wife and his kids. You see a lot of the city It's we did an episode like an
Disaster
end of the world. We did
movies,
disaster movies. I don't know if we ever talked about this one or not.
If we did, it was in passing.
Yeah, but it's definitely your disaster movie.
Yeah.
So that was one that I was thinking of. Hancock was another one.
Right. Yeah. That's a good movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I just finished watching iRobot. Hancock is up next on the list. I'm trying to go through some of the Will Smith back when he was good era.
What's the last good movie he did?
Man,
It has been a minute, hasn't it?
I don't know. He sort of like Keanu Reeves, like 90s, early 2000s Will Smith was
Yeah.
fantastic.
He really was.
And then he's kind of Nick Caged it.
He honestly, yeah,
He's-
you're not wrong. What about? Have you ever seen Collateral?
Collateral.
It's Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx. Really good movie.
Yeah, can you tell me the plot of it?
A cab driver becomes an unwitting accomplice to a killer,
Yes.
a contract killer's series of hits over the course of a night. So Jamie Foxx is the cab driver, Tom Cruise is the contract killer, and
Yes.
chaos ensues.
Good movie.
It's a really good movie. I'm not going to put it on the list, but it's a really good movie.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
Catch Me If You Can.
Is that
Not on any list.
L.A.?
But from what I saw here,
You're right. Well, it
Right?
kind of bounces all over the place.
but Los Angeles is featured
yeah.
multiple times in the movie, I think.
Gosh, that's a great movie too.
Let me
We talked about that at length in our Tom Hanks episode. Go back and listen to that. That's a great one. Leo DiCaprio. We could do a whole episode on Leo too.
he deserves one.
He does.
He deserves one. So yes, this one is not primarily set in LA, but it does have the LA connection. And it's kind of all over the US and all over the world, really. So
But I
that's
guess
why,
the field office is probably in LA for the FBI, and
Yeah.
that's kind of where he starts out.
and you see him in the beginning in LA.
Is that where the Pan Am?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's a great
why
movie.
it's not making my list,
Right,
but
yeah.
honorable mention there.
I got to mention Friday for a second.
What?
It's the movie Friday.
Never heard of it.
Oh, really? I want to say this is Ice Cube. The only reason I got to mention that is because my name is Craig, and apparently I have not seen Friday. Apparently, there's a character in there named Craig, and so I have this guy who always comes up to me, and about every other month that he sees me, he goes, "Top flight security in the world, Craig." Like he quotes part of the movie that has the guy's name in it. So, shout out to Friday. There's a couple other big ones in here. And I'm torn on what I want to take. I have 2 spots remaining. You have 1. I've got my 1 and 2. You have your numero dos.
Terminator was LA.
Was Terminator 1 LA? I know Terminator 2.
2.
I don't know about 1.
Isn't she from Los Angeles?
I
Isn't
feel
that where
like
he
it.
goes to kill her?
I think so. I think you're right.
What was her name? Sarah
Connors.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna list off the few I have left on my list. If you want to take one, I'm gonna give you the freedom to take one. When you hear it, though.
Okay. Yep. The Terminator is primarily the entire movie is in Los Angeles.
Volcano, 1997. Tommy Lee Jones.
like
Volcano erupts in
good.
L.A. Great movie. Not critically acclaimed. Doesn't have a great audience score, but I love the movie. I think it's great. It's a perfect disaster movie. 90s disaster movie. The Karate Kid. I thought you might take that one.
Give me the Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. Danielson.
That is absolutely worthy. And I was probably going to snag that if you didn't.
For some reason, I was thinking San Francisco, but it's
L.A.
L.A. Okay.
Because Danielson has to fight the bullies after he moves to L.A.
That's right.
So, great movie. I mean, it's obviously done very well. It's spun off a few times.
We got the revival of, they brought Cobra Kai, turned it into an entire series.
In that series, where's it on right now?
Season 4?
Like, where's it streaming, though?
Netflix, right?
Because it started out on YouTube Red. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That's where it started.
They dropped it, didn't they?
I think so.
They cut it, said we're not doing it or
Well,
something.
they cut YouTube Red. That's not
Okay.
a thing anymore. And so when they got rid of that, that kind of left it in
Netflix
limbo. That was
picked it
their
up.
big thing. Like YouTube is going to have a streaming
service.
platform. And when they got rid of that, Netflix, I guess, picked it
Okay.
up. But funny beginnings where it started out.
Yeah.
Absolutely worthy of making the bracket, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to take, and I didn't want to put it there. I may have shifted it around. I mentioned this one to you off camera. That was Angels in the Outfield.
Yes.
Early 90s Disney movie. It's all about the California Angels. It's just a fun. I remember watching this as a kid. So to me, there's nostalgia there.
I'm going to have to redo my bracket.
You're redoing your bracket.
You haven't seen E.T. I can't put E.T. on here. I got to play the game.
But I respect the LA-ishness.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do like
you haven't
what
seen Singing in the Rain.
Exactly. I'm going to move E.T. to 4. Okay?
Okay.
E.T. is going to go to 4. Speed is going to go to 2. So I'm going to flip those 2 around. And I'm tempted to take Angels in the Outfield at 3. I'm going to temporarily put it there.
Okay.
Because we've got others there, and I might move something else in there. Because there's a couple other, man, that I'm really torn between. Because you also have, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Clueless.
Never seen it. I haven't even heard of it. What's that?
1995. It's kind of a girly movie, but it's iconic. It's about a group
clueless.
of, where I lost it. A fashion-forward Beverly Hills teen navigates high school friendships, romances, in 1990s comedy. It's kind of a rom-com, I guess. I think it's just kind of a coming-of-age movie.
Sure.
But it was good. Even as a dude watching Clueless, it was funny.
Maybe I'll put it on my list.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Never seen it.
Eddie
I definitely have heard of it, that one, though.
A Detroit cop travels to Beverly Hills to investigate his friend's murder, blending humor and action. You need to. I'm constantly amazed at the movies you have seen and haven't seen. It's a never-ending cycle. Here's one I'm tempted. This is why I said I'm temporarily putting Angels at 3.
Sure.
Because of this movie. This is what I originally had pegged for my 3-2 spot. Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. What's that?
Jackie Chan. Yes, you have. Come on, dude. You almost got me going again.
In fact, I was telling Eric last night we need to rewatch Rush Hour.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Jackie Chan and
Yep.
Yeah,
it's on. I was
Chris Tucker.
I want to say Farley, and opposite side, different color, a lot smaller. They're polar opposites in many ways.
That's a great film. 1998, Hong Kong inspector. I'm gonna let you figure out which one of those is the Hong Kong inspector, and an LAPD detective team up to rescue the China. I'm doing it. If I had to pick which 2 of those movies I want to watch again, Rush Hour's beating Angels in the Outfield.
You don't want to get rid of E.T.? You don't want to bump E.T. for Angels in the Outfield?
No, I think E.T. deserves it more than Angels in the Outfield does.
Well, I mean, you've seen them, you know.
Yeah,
I don't.
I mean, it's definitely, they're both classics. E.T. is the more classic.
What, let's see. Rush Hour gets a 7 and a 78%.
That is true.
That seems about appropriate for it.
Yeah, I would definitely give it in that range. But it's great. It's good. Again, it's good fun. It makes you laugh. Chris Tucker is so funny. I wish I could see more of him.
Is he still around? Does he do anything anymore?
He is. Remember he was in Air with the Jordan movie?
That's right.
He was in that. He's really less funny in that movie. He's just so goofy with Jackie Chan in that movie. They went on to make a couple of different sequels, but that one's in L.A. Here's the other one. I'm torn between 2 here.
Oh, you still have...
I still have 2.
You're trying to take a number 1.
I'm trying to figure out, and I think...
The best L.A. movie.
I think
Yes.
I know which one I want to put. And this is hard.
According to Craig.
One of them, I'm torn on whether it needs to be number one or not. It's going to make the bracket no matter what.
All right.
So it's either number one or I'm moving stuff around.
All right, we'll help you out.
The other, I'm trying to decide if I want to put it on the bracket. And the reason I'm doubtful it makes the bracket is because I don't think you've probably seen it.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Well, try me.
Based on the track record today, I'm unsure. So the one that I don't know if you've seen is Training Day. Denzel Washington, a rookie cop, spends 24-hour shift, the rogue detective Denzel, with the LAPD narcotics division, facing moral dilemmas, corruption. Fantastic. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. And I want to say, I'm trying to remember who the rookie is.
I have not seen this. I was about to say that I had, but then that was something blues. Police.
NYPD Blue?
No. Police Academy? Is there one called Police Academy, maybe? That's what I'm thinking.
Yes,
of.
those are very different movies. Those are very different. Police Academy is a comedy.
And Training Day is not.
Training Day is absolutely not. It's very gritty.
Okay, so as back to gritty LA.
It's very gritty. Very, very gritty.
I have not
Ethan
seen it.
Hawke. That's the rookie. You haven't
Okay.
Seen that? You haven't
No.
seen that?
I have not.
Okay. I'm not going to put it on here then. I don't think of it immediately when I think of LA, but like it's definitely the gritty side of LA. He works narcotics. They're doing drug deals and stuff like that. Denzel, oh my gosh, he may have won an Oscar for this role. He is really good in this movie. Okay, the one that I think I'm going to take number one. I'm hoping you've seen it.
Well, I mean, to be a number one, I would have had to have seen a number one movie.
It's definitely going on the bracket.
Okay.
I think I'm putting it number one because
Yeah?
I freaking love this movie.
Okay.
Lethal Weapon.
I don't think I've seen it.
Come on.
Sorry. I think I've heard of it, though.
Goodness, how have you not seen Lethal Weapon?
Is that Steven Seagal?
No, it's Mel Gibson.
Oh, hang on. Is it like a knockoff of Die Hard?
No.
Where they're doing something in his front yard?
They are in his front yard at different points. Do I need to play the trailer?
It's him and a black guy together,
Danny
right?
Glover, yes.
Okay,
Gary Busey's in it.
I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen it.
Okay. We're getting somewhere.
Number one?
I love this movie, man.
Whoa.
This is
more than Die Hard?
This is iconic. Here's the deal. I thought you would poo-poo all over Die Hard.
Why? It not in the context that we're talking about it. I mean, if I was choosing between the two movies, I'm trying to remember.
I will tell you this. I like Lethal Weapon more than I like Die Hard.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I've seen this one.
That's your comment. That's your opinion of the movie.
That's
I
my
have
opinion.
seen this
I have
movie.
seen the movie.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stick with it. I mean, I'm tempted. I can't believe 2 of the 4 of mine you haven't seen.
Well, one of my 4 you haven't seen.
Oh my goodness. This is why movie episodes are tricky sometimes. Movies or TVs.
They are. Well,
and it's one reason we've never done a music episode because we are total different opposite spectrums when it comes to
I've
music.
had people ask us about music. I think we gave it a small category in a Valentine's episode where we talked about
think so,
Valentine,
yeah.
you know, like
I
love
think we
songs.
did. We may have done a Christmas music.
And, yeah, we may have done that. But typically, we both, I think, probably in Christian music, we probably like a lot of the same stuff.
Maybe.
I mean, I think we would find common ground.
We'd find some common ground there.
The rest of music, you know.
Are you like I am though, where I don't listen? I don't find myself listening to a lot of music these days.
Oh,
When I'm in the car or something, I'm listening to podcasts.
I'm usually listening to podcasts or books if I'm in the
when
car.
I'm doing stuff. It's people talking. I don't listen to music too much anymore.
We do play quite a bit of music at home. 90% of the time, if we're playing music, though, it's Christian music of some sort. And more recently, 90% of the music that we play at home is now kids
Right.
music.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
we could talk about the best Christian kids songs
guess so,
and do
yeah.
a podcast on that. But if it's secular, I really like old stuff, which is not surprising probably to people knowing that I like old movies. But which you're not a hater of old music, I don't think, as much as you are old movies.
No, I'm not a hater of old movies either.
You just haven't ever watched any.
I just don't watch a ton of them.
You say they're boring.
I mean, I have the attention span of a teenager sometimes. So yeah.
But I do like, your classic stuff, Rat Pack. I can listen to Dino and Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank and being outside of Christmas stuff. I enjoy that kind of music. Then if you're talking more modern music, I'm going to lean to the country genre. I like that sound, and Craig is a country hater.
Absolutely.
So
keep talking about whatever for a second. I have an idea. I want to try something.
okay, he's got an idea that he's trying. Let me just encourage you to leave a comment.
Sorry, the way I thought you were about to break into a sermon or something. Let me just encourage you today, everybody.
There was the spiritual side of things coming out. You can tell, Pastor Life, I want to encourage you this morning. No, I want to encourage our listeners and our viewing audience to let us know, how would you go about bracketing this out? What are your top 4? If you can't give us 8, when this whole thing came about, it started months ago. As we have noted before, our board many times has stuff put on it and we don't ever get to it. I at one point mentioned to Craig how many movies are set in Chicago. And that's why that went on the board. And then came about, we should put Los Angeles movies on there. And then we could go to Boston and we could go international with it, whatever. It just felt like, okay, let's start with LA. I think when we come to Chicago movies, those just jump out in my mind for some reason a lot more than Los Angeles.
And Chicago was probably going to be the one we went to first, but we thought, given the context of what's going on in LA, let's kind of
everybody's talking about Los Angeles these
quote
days.
unquote honor them a little bit in that regard. Okay, I'm going to propose something. We toss out our rankings.
We toss out our rankings?
Since there's some movies in there neither one of us has seen.
Okay.
Here's my proposal. I just asked ChatGPT. I put all 8 of the movies in there, and I said, hey, can you bracket this out in however you want to based on popularity or whatever? And it gave me a bracket. Do you want to go by this bracket? Without seeing it. I haven't seen it either.
And it's based on what?
On popularity.
Whose popularity?
I don't know. That's all I said. That's all I said.
Well, let's look at it. Can we look at it? I want to look at it to know if it's...
No, we can't look at it. Let's just trust the gut.
Is it going to... You put in the movies that we selected?
Yes, those 8 movies are in there. Yeah.
Sure, why not? Who
Okay,
cares?
let's have a little fun maybe.
If you want to be the best, you have to beat the rest. This is the Best Things Bracket.
Okay. So I had ChatGPT seed them as well. So we may see some upsets in here, technically. And if we don't like it, we can always go back to how we did the bracket as well. Okay. Round 1, according to ChatGPT, we have the number 1 seed, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, versus the 8 seed, the Aviator.
Okay.
So
Based on popularity.
yeah, here we go. 3. I'm gonna move to the secondary bracket here. All right, E.T. versus the Aviator. 3, 2, 1. The Aviator.
So we have the upset.
We have an upset.
Would you have voted E.T. if I had seen it? Or do you not believe that E.T. is the best?
Aviator's the better movie.
And which one is the most Los Angeles movie?
I don't. Probably the Aviator. Yeah. because you got the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. You got that side of it. You know, E.T. is more of a neighborhood. It's a suburb. So yeah, I would still say I think Aviator clears both of those categories.
Okay.
So I do think it's still, in the context of our tournament, I think it's the better one. Round number 2 or match number 2: Karate Kid versus Gone in 60 Seconds. This is a tough first rounder.
Okay.
3.
I don't like this.
I don't
matchup
like
at
it
all.
either.
This is
3.
Stupid.
3, 2, 1.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Rush Hour versus Speed. 3, 2, 1. Rush Hour. And then lastly, Lethal Weapon versus Singing in the Rain. Which neither one of us have seen both movies. So do we advance Rush Hour?
Lethal Weapon.
Or we go with a higher
I've
seed?
seen Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
Remember?
Okay. Then Lethal Weapon versus Singing in the Rain. 3, 2, 1. Lethal Weapon.
Singing in the Rain.
I haven't seen Singing in the Rain, so you're going to have to make the case for me.
I don't think I can make a case to convince you on that one.
Should we then?
I say just advance.
Or should we only pick movies we've both seen? Is that the fair thing?
Just send Lethal. Neither one of these would beat Rush Hour.
That's true.
Do you
So,
agree?
Yeah, Rush Hour is going to
Hour's
advance. All right. So then on the other side, we have The Aviator versus Gone in 60 Seconds. This is hard.
See,
This would have matched up either way.
okay.
So I think this could potentially be the final. Do you think Rush Hour is not going to be either one of those?
I would take 60 Seconds and Aviator over Rush Hour.
Okay.
Either one of them.
Then let's try our original bracket real quick.
Okay.
Let's see if that.
how it
Let's
plays
just
out?
see.
Sure.
Gone in 60 Seconds versus E.T. 3, 2, 1. Gone in 60 seconds. Karate Kid versus Rush Hour. 3, 2, 1. Rush
Kid.
Hour. Karate Kid 1 to 10. 3, 2, 1. 8. Rush Hour 1 to 10. 3, 2, 1.
7.
8. Okay, so Karate Kid would move on. Lethal Weapon versus Singing in the Rain. We said Lethal Weapon already.
Yeah.
Speed versus The Aviator. 3, 2, 1. The Aviator. Gone in 60 Seconds versus Karate Kid. 3, 2, 1. Gone in 60 seconds. Lethal Weapon versus The Aviator. 3, 2, 1. Aviator. Which leaves us Gone in 60 Seconds versus The Aviator for the final.
Okay. And in our other bracket, we had what?
We had this same matchup plus Rush Hour.
Plus Rush Hour.
So Rush Hour went out in the first round in this bracket against the Karate Kid. It's all about matchups, ladies and gentlemen. That's why people judge greatness about March Madness tournament wins. It's about the matchups.
It's always about the matchups.
All right. Gone in 60 Seconds versus The Aviator. Are you ready?
We're saying this is the best movie set in LA.
Movie set in LA. We've got to keep that in mind. We're not talking best movie. We're talking the best movie set in LA that doesn't include
That is the qualifier.
La La Land,
Pretty Woman.
yeah,
Some of the Chinatown, whatever
Right.
some of these other great ones may be.
yeah. Y'all can roast us on the internet all you want to. This is where we've landed. 3, 2, 1. The
Gone
Aviator.
in 60 seconds.
Gone in 60 seconds from 1 to 10. 3, 2, 1, 9.
Yeah, it may be a 9. You may be right on that. I may be short selling it at 8.
That gives it 17. Aviator 3, 2, 1, 9. Gone in 60 seconds, 1 to 100, 3, 2.
Hang on. Okay.
3, 2, 1, 88.
86.
Woo! Hey, math notes. Do you not work anymore?
I think it's 100 and
Apparently not.
86.
174.
174. Yeah. What did I say? 186. Yeah.
Aviator 1 to 100. 3, 2, 1, 91. 81?
81.
91. I think I can do that math. Now you want to work. 182. Aviator.
Wow.
Takes it.
Wow. Kind of surprised by that.
I am too. I'm not going to lie.
I did not think that would be the one.
Because we didn't see that or Gone in 60 Seconds on any list.
No. We must be stupid.
Maybe we are.
This is why we're not asked to write articles about
But yet the list gave me Shark Tale and Inception.
Well, that's true.
So there you go. That's where we landed after today's episode. That The Aviator is the best movie based in Los Angeles. If you're an Angelino, let us know in the comments. What would you reference as the best LA movie? I would be curious to know.
It may be the best thing today, but is it the best thing of all time? It's time for the best thing battle.
The Aviator versus our two-time defending champion pepperoni pizza. Does it stand a chance? 3, 2, 1.
Pepperoni pizza.
Nope, doesn't stand even a kind of a chance. Oh man, I've been craving a good piece of pizza the last couple of days for some reason. I've wanted it. You want to change the bracket? You want to change the winner of this episode, don't you?
I do.
I can feel it around you. I can feel it like I don't know that we did the right thing.
I don't know that we did either.
But okay,
I want to say, looking at that, had the Karate Kid, had the matchups worked out this way, I would take the Karate Kid over Lethal Weapon. I would take the Karate Kid over the Aviator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
If it were me, I would have sent Karate Kid to the finals.
As an LA movie, though, like you could put the Karate Kid anywhere. You could put the Karate Kid in Detroit, and it works out.
Okay.
So we're talking the best LA movie, the best Los Angeles movie.
Okay. That's fair enough.
That's the only reason I would rebuff that thought.
You're right.
I would say maybe Rush Hour is more LA, but again, you could probably do that in New York or somewhere else like that too.
Sure.
So. Howard Hughes, that's LA. He's part of the culture. That kind of thing.
We're gonna live with it.
We are. You got anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Well, if we got to live with it, you got to live with it. So live with it.
Hopefully you guys got some movies to put on your list that you need to go check out and watch.
Yes, I know you've got homework to do.
E.T.
E.T. Still can't believe
I'm gonna try to watch it.
I'm blown away. Okay, well, if that'll do it for you, that'll do it for me. For the best things, I'm Craig.
I'm Aaron.
We already said it. Have a good day, everybody. Goodbye. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can see more videos from us. Craig, Aaron, what are you still doing? Go click the video. Now.